Hey, yo, one more win for the good guys. Kedza Canuck back at you with the Superflex Fantasy Football Show with my man, my ace in the hole, D Nice right here with me to the right. What it do, D? How's life treating you, brother?
Hey, man, how's it going, man? It's all good, man. My fantasy life is crazy though. I think I've got a hold of some bad juju, man, and it's not going well in none of my leagues. It's terrible.
uh, I don't want to admit that on the show, but yeah, uh, I had a bad week, man, for sure. I lost in both of my leagues this week. Not very pleased with it. Josh Allen came and slayed me. We were in the middle of doing our Bears Feed the Bears live Bears watch on Sunday, and I get to noticing Josh Allen just taking off and having a career day out there, as they say, which maybe we'll take a bit of a look at. But sheesh, I was like, man, hopefully I'm not up against Josh Allen in any of my, you know what I mean?
I was.
Leagues, me too, brother.
I most definitely was.
Me too, man. I was up against Josh Allen, and Josh Allen put up 69 odd points in fantasy football. Naj went 1-3. Not bad, Naj. Good to see you in the chat, bro. Always appreciated to have you. Thank you very much. But yeah, he ate my lunch. The guy I was up against put up 183 points this week. Nice score. I had the chance to come back, and then some things happened that I think we'll get into a little bit as we go. And those things really were like, what's up, Amon Ross St. Brown? What happened? Like, what happened with the Eagles? The Lions this week? I don't know. You would think that in Dallas, when you're up, the running back would really get going, and he just didn't quite get it done for me. Hey, Miss Nova, what's going on? But yeah, you know what I mean? There's it just wasn't awesome. It was not what I was hoping.
Yeah, it turned into a Prescott show in Dallas versus Vegas, man. He put the ball in the right place, the receivers caught. It seemed like they caught everything.
Well, speaking of all that, let's get to it. Let's look at a little bit of this fantasy football week and some of the characters thereof. One should be, and I wasn't even really thinking about this particular player as per normal, but the player that I want to bring up that you just sort of brought up is George Pickens, right? Because you would think the obvious. You'd think the obvious go-to guy in Dallas is CeeDee Lamb, and for the most part he is. But this kid is pretty surefire, I think is a good way to put it, man. Right? He's starting to really step into his own. They've got a very nasty dual threat on both sides of that wide receiver core. Sheesh. Either one of these guys, and either one of these guys is really good to have on your fantasy football team. So I just wanted to give a little bit of a shout out to George Pickens for what he did this week. We'll take a quick peek at Josh Allen, like we were just talking about. Clearly, ain't nobody. You got to get him by trade at 97% roster, 85% started. He, you know what I mean? He's going nowhere fast. Good luck getting your hands on him. Let's take a quick peek at Mr. Josh Allen because he deserves some conversation. Oh, yeah. No. Man, Naj, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Sorry, D, but Naj's pops passed this Monday.
Oh, wow.
He was a Lions fan. That is very unfortunate in multiple degrees. Only fitting they lost Sunday night in Philly. Jeez, at least you're taking it the same way I'm taking it. Sorry, shout out to your family, Naj, man. I'm really sorry to hear that. Big love and respect to you for always giving back to us here at Kedza Canuck as well as at the Nomad Network. Rough times always when a parent passes. So I know
yes, indeed,
where your heart's going to be for the next little while, man. So again, just wanted to give some prayers and blessings. Send that right out to you. Power, strength, and all that, man. Do what you do, man. We appreciate you.
My condolences, Naj, and prayers to you and your family.
Yeah. Respect that, man. All right. So
be strong for the fam, Notch. Best you can, man. The best you can. You the strength now.
that's it. All right. Had to give Naj a little bit of love. That's how we do here in those situations. But we'll continue on with the show because the show must go on. So Josh Allen, man, Mr. Allen is really stepping into his own. Not to say that it wasn't expected. Geez, Naj, it's been one of them years, brother. Damn. But 60 odd points at the quarterback position in week 11. Josh Allen's really starting to run away with what might be considered an MVP nod. He's crushing it in many cases single-handedly. And what I really wanted to get down to show y'all is 300 plus yards in the air, 40 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns. Like, it was funny initially because when I was listening to a couple of shows talking about this game specifically, and they alluded to, man, Josh Allen got three touchdowns in the sky and then 2 picks, and I was like, man, how you get 63? You know what I mean? I'm saying, like, how you get 63 fantasy football points with a couple of picks in the mix here? And the answer is, you run the football into the end zone 3 more times on top of whatever else you were doing. And that starts to make things make a lot more sense. So, yikes. Again, 100% rostered, 97% started. Nobody's trading you, Josh Allen.
Not at all.
No.
And I was pissed at him because I got James Cook. I'm like, man, let my back get in there, man.
Please.
Yeah, man. I'm feeling some type of way about that, man.
Well, the thing is, like, I get it. The thing is, defenses are going to get soft, right, because of the threat of the pass.
Mm-hmm.
Now he can take advantage of it with his legs and a little bit of muscle, man. He's not afraid to truck a fool, man. He really is not.
Yeah, I mean, at 6'5", 240, you may as well say you shouldn't be. He built like a tight end, man.
He is built like a tight end. Closest thing I can compare him to is ancient Carson Wentz, I guess, is like the closest thing, and he's that much better and has that much better of an arm. So wow, just an impressive week for Josh Allen, and wanted to give him a little bit of fantasy football love before we started into other things. Where else should I go here early into the show?
Yes. I think since we on quarterbacks, I honestly think the direction we need to go in, we got to get this young man props. He's a former number 1 pick, and he's been up and down. But this weekend versus the Falcons, he had a day.
Versus the Falcons? Who's playing the Falcons this week?
No.
Bryce Young?
Yes, sir.
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Wow, okay. Let's look at this. Okay. All right. So I'm going to say the obvious things, but I got to give the kid some love, right? So finally, Bryce Young has come out to play, y'all. Finally, against a division rival. It's about damn time. Okay. So at least one of this young man's wide receivers made the thumbnail this week, and that's Tet McMillan.
Yeah.
So we'll get to Tet here in a second. I don't need to do it that way. We'll get to Tet here in a second. A 40-point game for Bryce Young. That is wild and crazy. No, he didn't.
Yeah.
Okay, 400 and almost 450 in the sky this week.
Yeah.
That's wild and crazy stuff, brother.
If you'd have watched some of that game, what's more impressive is 2 things to me that stuck out. I can see when the game is starting to slow down for a quarterback. You can kind of see it. It's like he's able to detect things and kind of have an answer for all the defense. He just picked them apart. And what's the other thing that's very important is when he got a lot of those numbers, that game was tight, man. The Falcons, they brought it back, man, but he dialed it up and he was delivering when they needed him to deliver. So the timing of when he was having some of those good stats is very important. I think he's very viable for anybody moving forward.
Okay, so let's have the obvious conversation. Right? Let's have the obvious conversation. We got to look at the track record now. The track record is abysmal, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you are the Carolina Panthers, you're trying to build, it's fine. You want to give the kid as much time as you can to really get to who he's to become. And I think it's just about that time, right? It's about that time that we start to see who he is going to be in the NFL. And if it's respective of this performance and not respective of the previous two performances, I'm interested. Maybe there's something to be said about a Bryce Young at this point in the season. Now, facts, 16% rostered, 6% started. He's about as available as a human being could possibly be in the NFL. Yes, anybody could go get themselves some Bryce Young love. So, all right, like he might be hurt this week. I just might go ahead and grab myself some Bryce Young in my Superflex league just because Joe Flacco might be on his way to the bench, right? It's going to happen sooner or later. Joe Burrow's probably coming back unless there's some sort of a public announcement that Joe Burrow is not going to that he's not going to suit up for the 2025 season. I think they would have to make a public announcement about that. Otherwise, I think they should too. Otherwise he's going to come back and start to play again, and Joe Flacco's going to hit the skids. If that's the case, I don't mind giving the young Mr. Young a shot because Lord knows I've tried with the young Mr. Penix and it wasn't awesome.
And you don't have to worry about that anymore.
Why, he's benched?
He's out for the season.
Oh, no.
Another torn ACL, man.
Oh, brother, I didn't know. I missed that one. So there's injury alert, y'all.
Riley. Yes. Hurry up. Hurry up. Hurry up.
There's the answer to that one.
A lot of people may not have the news I just dropped. Hurry up.
Do it now.
Do it now.
Oh, Riley.
Yeah, Penix is out for the season, man. This will be his third torn ACL. And the future looks kind of murky, man.
Shoot.
Hey, by the way, a lot of people were riding some mid to late season Aaron Rodgers, trying to, hold on to Aaron Rodgers, but I think people are looking for another quarterback right now. I'm glad y'all talking about quarterbacks, being Bryce Young, being part of the conversation, and also the guy in Arizona. People might want to know, is Mason Rudolph somebody that they might want to consider?
I don't trust that one, but we're going to see against our beloved Chicago Bears this weekend. But yeah, Riley, yeah, do it now. Do it yesterday. I'm glad you brought up Mr. Arizona because he made the thumbnail this week. I've been talking about him a little bit over the course of the last few weeks. I went and I picked myself up some Jacoby Brissett there. I don't know, maybe in week 6, and it's been awesome. I don't have a complaint in the world about Jacoby Brissett. And this is coming from somebody who rostered initially Kyler Murray. I had Kyler Murray on my squad, and I had to drop him because I just did not like I told you guys about that ball in the face situation. I didn't. After that, I was like, no, he doesn't. I don't think this kid wants to play football. Like, he just doesn't seem like a guy who wants to be out there playing. And I have the feeling that that's the general feeling within the organization because they quickly sort of transitioned into, he's got a toe injury. He's never starting again. And that's very strange. So I grabbed myself Jacoby Brissett knowing what that wide receiver core looks like. And, since we are talking quarterbacks, I am very quickly going to just say here, 23% rostered, 15% started out there. If y'all need Kirk Cousins notch, Good call. Okay, we're gonna talk about that before we get to wide receivers here, but if y'all need a quarterback,
listen, I told people from the first time we had a conversation about him, Jacoby Brissett is a constant professional. Everywhere he's been, he's found a way to be successful, and not successful to the point where he becomes a starter, but the guy just does his job. Him having a weekend like he had this weekend, not necessarily a shock because number one, the running game in Arizona sucks. And number two, the guy slings the ball like a pillow fight, bro. And he's going to throw it anytime he's on the team. He's going to throw it. He's going to throw it well. Listen, with a guy like him, it's going to be a couple of interceptions in there, maybe, but he's going to throw touchdowns, and he's going to throw for a lot of yards. So Jacoby Brissett is a good pickup if you're down bad at the quarterback position. You have to consider a guy like him. He's starting now, and like I said, Arizona, the running game sucks. It leaves a lot of room for him to throw the football. Now, he don't have a plethora of weapons, but he also did this without Marvin Harrison Jr. So that's something to think about, man.
So we are going to get into the wide receiver core at Carolina. With the Cardinals and Carolina a little bit later on. But I like this quarterback conversation, especially for those of y'all who are rocking Superflex leagues. So we are going to look at Kirk Cousins. Naj just sort of threw it into the chat that clearly if we got an ACL injury in Atlanta, somebody got to throw the pill. And that somebody is Kirk Cousins, back at it again. I'm going to say some stuff here. Y'all can see the numbers here. He's had the opportunity to play a couple of times this season. It ain't looking real great. I'm just putting it out there. It didn't look fantastic the last few times he had the opportunity to play football for the Atlanta Falcons. It looked downright abysmal. 4% rostered, 1% started. Everybody can get their hands on Kirk Cousins. I am also going to say that the New Orleans Saints secondary isn't great either, so he might be able to do a little bit of damage. We'll have to wait and see, man. Have to wait and see. But Riley, yeah, I would still make that trade, brother.
Oh yeah.
I would not let Kirk Cousins coming back affect the ability to grab T. Higgins as opposed
to. And then I don't know if the person you're trading with, I don't know if he listens to the show, but the wide receiver for Atlanta is dealing with some Drake London is dealing with some injuries as well. So you might be able to get up off of him, a good time.
So let's just look. Let's now that we're sort of through the quarterback carousel. I know there's some chat about Sam Darnold in the chat. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that.
Oh, what a disappointment! I know some guys that had him in their leagues, man, and had them on their team. Oh, you talking about some guys that were upset, man. You talking about a Jekyll and Hyde situation. Sam Darnold put it on guys this weekend, with the performance he had compared to the performance he had the game before. Oh, wow, man.
So what are we talking about here, D? So I'm not clued into this particular game. I'm now catching up. I see four interceptions, which is not a good bit.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
All right. So yeah. When I ask the question, I really mean, is this Sam Darnold? Because like these last 2 weeks haven't been good, but from week 9 back, it's been a pretty good. It's been pretty good for Sam Darnold out there. No, man, what are you thinking?
I'll give you guys a little tip. Now, as you know, Darnold's got that kind of cloud over him at this time of the season. It's typically when he kind of starts to morph into something because it gets a little tighter. He starts to morph into something different. But something else I always noticed about Sam Darnold is when there's man coverage, when he's playing teams that are mostly man coverage and they like the blitz, he'll pick you apart. He'll pick you apart because the way he throws the ball is he's kind of a rhythm thrower that way, where he throws the ball away from the coverage real good. But when teams play consistent zone defenses, which is what the 49ers usually do. That's when they can morph those zones a little bit. That's when he gets into a little bit of trouble.
So this is really where I was at. Like, is this more of a Sam Darnold versus the Rams thing? Because they're up against Tennessee at Tennessee this week. I'm gonna have to say, regardless as to a 4-pick game, I think Sam Darnold picks up. You know, I think he brushes shoulders off and comes right back at it and has a 40-point game this coming week because
versus who?
It's Tennessee.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Great pumpkin syndrome.
Don't bench him. Anybody that's got him.
I wouldn't bench him.
You got to give all your guys a chance to have a bad game. It's going to happen at some point during the season. Every one of your fantasy guys, for the most part, going to have a rough game. You got to give him a little leeway too.
Yeah, I mean, unless you got a bona fide guy in front of him, I wouldn't bench him.
Who for my wide receiver 2 and 3 and flex spot? I got Devontae Adams, wide receiver 1, Jonathan Taylor and Henderson as his running backs 1 and 2, wide receiver Hollywood Brown, Tez Johnson, Washington and Jordan Addison, Jacoby Myers as well. Other running backs, Zach Charbonnet, Josh Jacobs, who's out, Debo and Quentin Johnson on bye week. Thanks for reminding me Debo's on bye week. Okay, man. 2 and 3 this week is going to be a question. This is going to be a question of matchups. So let's get down to the nitty gritty. I don't trust Hollywood Brown at all, so I would probably, you know what I'm saying?
I'm nothing on Hollywood, but I think Jacobs is injured. Debo is Debo. They're on by Debo and Q Johnson.
Debo and Q Johnson on bye.
But Tez is gonna get looks, and of course we know Jordan Addison is gonna get looks too. We just seen that this weekend. Jacoby Myers and Washington. And they're on the same team now.
Well, then you kind of get the handcuff if there's such a thing in this offense. You know what I mean? So, definitely Tez would be my wide receiver 1 in this. Sorry, my wide receiver 2 in this case. Wide receiver 3 and flex. I would flex spot. I would go Charbonnet. I would probably go. I'm a running back heavy guy. That's just me, and I would go Jacoby Myers. Let's look at Jacoby Myers for a second because I don't know how much I trust this Parker Washington thing. So he's up and down.
He's too much, but he's a special team guy, so he gets a lot of his value from that.
So Parker versus Jacoby, just as up and down, but he's just getting used to this offense.
Yeah,
he had a better week than Parker had last week. They're going up against the Arizona Cardinals. They'll probably both play well. And let's take a quick peek at Zach Charbonnet. Like Charbonnet's up and down too because he's
RB2.
You know what I mean? He's RB2 behind Kenneth Walker. So I have both of these guys as a handcuff on one of my teams. And I'll be frank here, I have not played Zach Charbonnet all season. I haven't. So I would think Jordan Addison is your third. That's what I would think. I think that's a safe go. Let's just see who the Minnesota.
Yeah, Addison has to be one of your guys. McCarthy has shown that he's going to look to Addison almost more than Jettas
and Jefferson.
I don't know about that, man, because you got to always consider the quarterback, and I don't think that he doesn't have NFL capabilities right now. Talking about JJ McCarthy, you want to deal with somebody that I think is going to get some surefire numbers. I'm going to go with one of those Jacksonville receivers. And more than likely, it'd be Parker Washington, just because Jacoby Myers just got there. If Jacoby Myers had been there for the last 4 or 5 weeks, I would say Jacoby. But I think, in my opinion, Parker Washington is the best bet.
Man, I think this is a terrible conversation. I just want to put that out there. Because, like, all three of these players. So Jordan Addison, 10 points. Jacoby Myers, 11 points.
But look at the target. Look at the targets, though. This is what we're saying. This is what I'm saying. You look at the targets versus Baltimore with Jordan Addison. Versus Baltimore, he got 11 targets. Now, I understand that McCarthy is not shown to be the best player in the position, but 11 targets versus Baltimore, 7 targets versus us. He even had 12 targets versus Philly. Now, mind you, that was a different quarterback, but he's getting the targets. Compared to Jacksonville. Jacksonville is leaning on the run game now. They're kind of taking some of the pressure and the responsibilities away from the quarterback a little bit. So, and like I will agree with Nomad when saying that Trevor Lawrence is a lot better than McCarthy at this point in his career. But just looking at the targets on the player, the wide receiver targets, those are opportunities to make big plays. Now, if he catches them or don't catch them, or the ball goes this way or that way, that's another thing. But he's getting the targets. So
I'm with you 1,000,000,000%.
Very true. That part is very true. Good point, D. Very good.
Yeah. I agree. I think target share is probably the way to judge this one. And considering these two guys are splitting target share, what do you say?
Parker Washington is explosive. You know what I mean? He can get it and get it gone. Which is the main reason why he's on special teams, but his opportunities are not going to be that of a guy like Jordan Addison's, because Jordan Addison is a true number 2 wide receiver in this particular offense on this team. And Parker Washington, I hate to call guys gadget, but that's kind of what he is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's definitely a gadget guy in that offense.
Well, hey, also, too, something to consider. This is some little stuff you got to pay attention to. I'm telling you who's upset. And who was upset last week was A.J. Brown in Philly, and he got probably more targets than that. Mm-hmm. And that's because he complained about it openly, and Justin Jefferson's starting to do that now. And so, you know what I'm saying? It might be one of them. I need to focus on 18 this week to get him.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, just for argument's sake, where you at, Justin Jefferson? I know you were around here somewhere. Here's a guy we don't talk about a lot in this show, and it's just because he's balling on a weekly basis. Like, he just is, and he's rostered everywhere. You can't get him. Ain't like he ain't getting targets, bruh.
Right.
That's really what I wanted to check and see, because if you got Double J on your team, you need to be sending it over there. And 9 targets, 12 targets, 9, 11, it's just not working. You see what I'm saying? 10 targets, it's just not working, bro. That's all. That's all it is. So in comparison to, 7 and 11 here, 4 here and there, it's working just a fair amount better with Jordan Addison than it is with and we can go one step further.
Jalen Naylor.
And look at how good this one's working. So, like, I brought this guy up last week. 6 targets, 33 fantasy football points. Why? Because the other 2 guys are being double teamed, right? So you got to find the third guy in the progression. Somehow he's getting the ball over to the third guy every so often. Jalen Naylor got targeted a few times. I'm not saying only once against Chicago.
Now if you look at our game yesterday, Addison, it potentially could have had 3 scores. One in the first quarter, one guy that he dropped, 1 interception in the end zone, and the other one, of course, he caught because Nashawn Wright was trying to do more than what he's supposed to do. But it shows that Addison is getting a look, especially in the money zone.
Hey, Juan, I know you looking for a steak dinner, man. I understand. Everybody wants that. Everybody wants that, man. That that's something that's hidden out there, but man, they might be all a pack of hot dogs, man. I'm just being
Well, let's since we're on the wide receiver train, let's move on to some of that. So I don't know if you're gonna find it in Jacksonville or even in Minnesota, but there's some guys to talk about. Like, where'd you go? I thought I had you up here. There you are. There he is. There's a guy. 42% roster, 29% started. Michael Wilson. Sounds like the most average person in the world, doesn't it? Well, put him on a football field. He ain't all that average, man. Give him some targets, and he's a superstar. This is what I'm talking about. So there ain't no Marvin Harrison Jr., which is what we were talking about before. He's gone. Gotta sling the pill somewhere. So this is who Jacoby Brissett has been hitting in the wide receiver room. It's Michael Wilson. The other guy is Greg Dortch. I don't see Greg Dortch getting anything near the target share that Michael Wilson is getting, but it ain't crazy, y'all. So these are two wide receivers you could actually kind of look at. Like Mr. Dortch, 6% rostered, 4% started. He's available in your league.
Yes,
he's getting targets. He's getting 6, 7. He's getting targets now because Marvin Harrison Jr. is hurt. Right?
I wonder, so in that comment, did he mention anything about being? Sometimes you might want to throw that extra tight end in there as the weather starts to get colder. Depending on who's playing where. Like I like Pat Freiermuth with Mason Rudolph in there because he's just one of those guys that throws a lot to the tight ends. Check down Charlie.
There's another tight end over there in Pittsburgh as well. So it's a little bit harder to quantify. Pat Freiermuth hasn't had a great look this season because of the other guy. And I'm just blanking out on who it is.
Washington.
John Smith.
Jonnu Smith and Washington.
It's Jonnu Smith and Washington. So it's kind of a three-man toss-up over there. It's a bit harder to quantify in Pittsburgh. But yes, Nomad, like you're right. When things start to get slim in the wide receiver room, thou shalt seeketh a tight end, right? Like that's basically a great plan.
This guy has 15 catches, 185 yards.
Who?
Michael Wilson. The guy
man.
Sheesh.
This is what I'm talking about. Michael Wilson is a real deal with Jacoby Brissett slinging the pill. He's a different, he's a former Patriot. He's a guy who sat behind Tom Brady, learned that Patriot way, very similar to, again, a much more mobile Tom or a much more mobile, what was his name? Damn it. Anyways, the other Jimmy Garoppolo. That's what
Garoppolo.
You know what I'm saying? Like same style of play, just more athletic and a bit better at it. He had his shot in Indianapolis, didn't work out, but as a backup, one of the better backups in the league.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Target, it's going to be guys like Greg Dortch. It's going to be guys like Michael Wilson, and you can only wait and see whenever Marvin Harrison Jr. decides to return.
This has to be a wake-up call for Marvin Harrison Jr., man. This has to be. Because a guy with 18 targets, 15 catches, and you can't even touch that production.
Well, he ain't never seen 18 targets. He also has never seen that kind of production. So I'm not sure if this is a Marvin Harrison Jr. conversation or if it's a Kyler Murray just don't really want to play football conversation. So it might be a combination of the two. I'm a little bit less down on Marvin Harrison Jr., especially the way that he came back this season with a whole new physique. I appreciate that, but if you're hurt, you're hurt. Not much you can do.
Yeah, I can dig it, but man, this has to be a wake-up call for him. Has to be.
Yeah, I agree.
He has to use it for motivation and nothing else, man.
So last quarterback to talk about, I really did. I really shouldn't. I was trying to transition to other things, but I can't. I can't go the week without saying the truth. Bo Nix went out there and played the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
And I only watched maybe 4 or 5 minutes of this football game because I was like, it's Denver. Like, what are they going to do against the Chiefs? And I stopped for a second and I saw the camera panned over to Andy Reid looking, like a walrus. Or, you know what I mean? It's just kind of what was happening. And then they panned over to the other side and you see Sean Payton. And I was like, oh, snap. Wait a minute. The head coaching divide is non-existent now. Like these are two, consummate professionals, right? Like as far as head coaching is in the NFL is concerned.
Yes, sir.
Interesting. And I just paused for a minute. I was like, I wonder if this is really going to be a football game. And then I transitioned on to other things. And goodness, it was a football game. Bo Nix came out. Now, his numbers may not be, super respective of it, but Bo Nix came out and outplayed Patrick Mahomes. Got to say it out loud for people to hear. Bo Nix came out and outplayed Patrick Mahomes. I had to repeat it. 290 plus yards on the day. Don't get much better than that. It gets better if you get in the end zone, and that's really the thing he did not do. All right. Them getting the end zone a couple more times, and it's a conversation to be had. And that's that. That's the only reason why these numbers aren't completely inflated. They should be in a game where the Broncos beat the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly defensively laden, but again,
buddy, all people want to know is should they pick up Bo Nix?
He's on the bye. He's on the bye this week.
If he's available, like 88% rostered, 44% started, if Bo Nix is somehow available in your league, yeah, go get yourself some Bo Nix, man.
They play the Commanders and the Vegas Raiders back to back, coming off a bye. So yeah.
Give him a week's rest. See if you can snake him during the bye week. See if somebody dropped him during the bye week. By all means, you probably have 2 solid weeks of I'm going to say 20 plus points coming at you, if not a bit more than that. Mm-hmm. Who knows? There's my guy, Melon Smasher. What up? Bo Nix is 13-2 at home all time. 10-0 at home last 10 home games. He's 2-1 versus Kansas City. Lamar and Allen could never knock Mahomes out of the playoffs. So Bo Nix did dirty work. Nix 6th most TD passes in the NFL in 2024. All facts. Like, this is one thing about Melon Smasher. If he's in the chat, you will be blasted and hit with some facts. These are some facts.
One other thing though, Kez, Naj made the great point. He says Bo Nix competes. That's one of the things you're going to get now. I know D is an SEC person being down there in Georgia.
Not really, but I got you. Yeah, I know where you're going.
That's one thing you can for sure know you're going to get out of an SEC quarterback when it comes down to winning time. Those dudes compete because you have to in that league. You got to, or you can't be an SEC quarterback. So that's one trait you're getting with an SEC quarterback.
It's just a real thing, man. Just keep your eyes peeled on Bo Nix. He's heating up,
Yeah. Listen, I'm not a big fan of Bo Nix, man. I remember him in the SEC, and he couldn't beat out a young man, last name Finley, who never really panned out. That's why he ended up transferring to Oregon. But he's a coach's son. His dad was a quarterback at Auburn, Patrick Nix. So he has some traits, man. Let me just say it like that. He's a gamer, as we all see. He has such slow starts though. He starts off very slow for whatever reason that is, but he comes up when Denver needs him. When Denver gives him opportunities to be successful, he usually comes through for him, in some way, somehow. He's a smaller version of Josh Allen to me. Kind of erratic, but his good games are great, and his bad games suck. But he finds ways to win. So competes is a very good word to use for him.
Well, just saying, if somehow by hook or by crook he's available, you may want to do a double take, much like I did earlier this season with a certain Mr. Drake May. Right, Drake May was out there floating around in my waiver wire, and I did a quick research. He's number 2 in the league, and he's on waivers. No, I gotta get myself some Drake May. So I grabbed up Drake May, and away we go. Right. So, and thank goodness I did, because I drafted RG4, and he is. I hate the fact that they refuse to put the man on IR. He ain't coming back. So I can't even stash the guy on my IR spot in any of my leagues. He's sitting. I double drafted Jaden Daniels this season. And whoops, shame on me. Now I'm not sure what to do with them. I'm not sure if I just drop them outright. I'm going to have to say, folks, probably in your best interest, if you're a Jaden Daniels owner like I am, to drop him outright. I do not expect him to return this season. I do not expect them to put him on injury reserve. Just saying. Anyways, that's enough for quarterbacks as far as I'm concerned. I think we are done here. So yeah, back to these wide receivers. We did talk about Pickens a little bit. We talked about the Greg Dortch. We talked about Michael Wilson. Tez Johnson's doing decent things out where he is. Just had a bad week against Buffalo, but I want to talk about this guy. Ted McMillan. Ted McMillan made the thumbnail this week.
Oh, rookie.
Yeah, man, look at that. So as we're saying, if Bryce Young is starting to become a guy, right? If he's burgeoning into the Bryce Young that that is deserving of a first-round pick, you got to have weapons around him. Who are those weapons? Well, T-Mac is one of the weapons, man. Ted McMillan is one of them weapons. Xavier Legette is another one that you should talk about. Unfortunately, he is injured right this minute, or I would be talking. He would have made the thumbnail too.
Yeah, he had a good game. He had a good game versus the Falcons as well. Him and Ted, I had a chance to really pay attention to Ted McMillan. Very good receiver, man. The route concepts that he's running is a little sketchy for me, but he gets open, and when he gets open, he has good run after the catch. He's gonna be a good young player, man.
I'm just saying, if this output is to continue, these 3 receivers are to be looked at. And let's just be as real as we can here. I don't know about this year, but this team is kind of it's a really the talent on this team is extreme, right? Rico Dowdle is doing things that nobody really expected Rico Dowdle to do. He came in, ate my fellow Canadians' lunch in Cuba Hubert, and took the job. There's Trevor Etienne, who's just drafted there this season, who's really vying for a job. There is Jonathan Brooks, who's an amazing back, just can't stay healthy. All these running backs are solid, y'all, super solid running back core. David Moore. David Moore's not a bad wide receiver to be your backup number 1. He's not a bad wide receiver at all. Xavier Legette. I remember when Chris and I scouted him. Rest in peace, Chris Washington, man, our old producer at the Nomad Network. We scouted Xavier Legette and stopped and said, man, he's going to come into the league gangbusters. And he was drafted right alongside Bryce Young, and it's just taken a couple years for Bryce to come into his own. But now that he is, so's Xavier. It's happening. Yeah. Unfortunately, Xavier's hurt this week. Jalen Coker, who we have on the screen right now, is going to play that that Xavier Legette role for the next couple of weeks, and that might, depending on how long he's out, that might bode well for folks. Again, 8% roster, 2% started. He's out there and available too.
I think Legette plays though, because that's been the thing with him. It's been his availability. He's, you know what I'm saying. It's hard to get chemistry with your QB if you're not there to receive it, man. And it shows by his targets. When you start out the first 2 games, he had 7 targets week 1. I think he had 8 week 2. Then he missed 2 games in a row and his targets fell. And I also think that Carolina is really leaning on that run, man, and I think that helped them this weekend as well. But
Melon, Alec Pierce was made the thumbnail last week.
Mm-hmm.
He is well worth the start. I have to say it. Alec Pierce is well worth it. Another wide receiver that I'd scouted a couple of years back, hoping that the Chicago Bears would select him. And I mentioned this last time. Instead, we decided not to, and we overdrafted Velus Jones. So Alec Pierce, there's the guy. So okay, before I jump off of Xavier Legette, 13% rostered, 4% started. If he's going to play this week, keep your ear to the ground. It's definitely worth a flyer if you're hurting in the wide receiver room. Definitely worth a flyer. Ted McMillan, unfortunately, the word is out. People get it. 94% rostered, 81% started. Jalen Coker, same thing. Keep your ear to the ground. If Xavier Legette is questionable and winds up being out, not a bad look. He will secure those targets, and it'll probably be a decent week for Jalen Coker. Now over to Alec.
Their versus San Francisco this week, so
it's going to be tough.
What just happened? We know what just happened in San Francisco. With Brissett, so maybe Bryce Young can get these guys active and have another big week.
That's it. That's interdivision stuff. So who knows, right? So what do you say?
You know how rostered Juwan Jennings is, because that is Purdy's kind of his favorite target.
Yeah, he and Kittle.
Mm-hmm.
He likes those tight ends, eh? Juwan Jennings. I don't see him anywhere. Don't see him. Why don't I see him? I can do it this way. There he is. Maybe because I'm misspelling his name. That would explain it. All right. He's rostered just enough for things to be a little bit sideways. So 77% rostered, 49% started. Not the greatest week against the Arizona Cardinals, right? But under normal pretenses, he's getting the targets and he's getting yak. And a touchdown here and there, too. So something to keep your eyes peeled on. But Mr. Pierce is a little bit sweeter. 59% rostered. He's not rostered all over the place. You can find Alex Pierce. 19% started. One more time, you can find Alex Pierce. And look, 27, 18, 14, right? Things are happening with Danny Dimes that nobody really expected to happen. It's true, man. All I can say is this kid just needed a quarterback.
Nobody.
He's that good. Nobody.
Oh, I didn't tell you Danny Dimes is going to be different once he got out of New York. I didn't tell you that.
No.
Oh my God.
You gonna say you told me that?
Now you bullshit.
Oh, come on now. He's acting like good things come out of New York City. The only good thing coming out of New York is East Coast rap in the 90s. That's about it. That's about that. But hey, somehow he came out of New York and he's doing great. Good luck finding him on your waiver. He's also very taken. Just checking out what you got here, Melon. Mellon's 7-4 in fourth place in a 12-team league. Like, I'm very close in both of my leagues. 2 QB Superflex lineup, Stafford and Mahomes. Whoo, not bad. Jonathan Taylor. Wide receivers, Alec Pierce, Romeo Dobbs, Calvin Ridley. Yeah, I know. Trash wide receivers. Tight ends are Dalton Schultz. Pat's running back Travion Henderson. Okay, not too shabby, man. Not too shabby. But yeah, the wide receiver core could be better. I think he probably traded that off for those quarterbacks you have, as well as John Taylor. Like, that's a pretty good look, especially Travion Henderson. I will admit to the biggest mistake of my fantasy football year, and that is dropping Travion Henderson on one of my teams. Huge mistake. Big mistake. I made a mistake. Right, so I just wanted to admit that to the world. It hurts. It's painful. It's a painful situation, especially now that Ramondre has gone down. I held on to him for about half the season, thinking, man, like, are they going to do like a dual threat back thing? What are we doing here? You went and you drafted this kid and nothing? Nope. All right. You know what? I need the room, and I was in a desperate situation with a bye week, and had to make some decisions. And one of those decisions was cutting bait on Travion Henderson. Somebody is a very happy Travion Henderson owner, and I think you should send me chocolate or something. I don't know. I will also take cash checks and money orders. So that being said, we've touched base on Alec Pierce. Let's get to some running back love, right? So here's a guy. Jalen Warren is hurt. These guys are going into Chicago. They're going into Chicago with a hurt quarterback as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there's thoughts that they may want to lean on the run game more so than totally turn to and rely on the arm of Mason Rudolph. Just saying things out loud. So Kenneth Gainwell may be a viable play this week in fantasy football. Might be worth a look. I can look at it. We can look at his numbers together. Oh, he had one bomb week in Minnesota. That's good to see. And he had a bomb week this week. Okay. Yeah. Kenneth Gainwell, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I got to say.
With the Steelers game, they draft the kid out of Iowa? Johnson?
Caleb Johnson. You're right. Yeah, they did.
He may get a look this weekend, but something tells me that the landlord plays, man.
I think he'll do anything and everything in his power to play. I'm with you there. I predicted well into the season that he would probably be hurt at this point, and like lo and behold, got hurt last week, right? Like I figured exactly that point of the season. When every injury this season, just to put it out there. So I'm really not that surprised that he's hurt. We'll see if he makes it. Now, he has played against us in many hurt capacities in the past. Just saying, I remember him wobbling around with 1 foot and still getting the job done. If it's his throwing wrist,
it's the left. It's the left.
It's the left wrist. It's not the throwing wrist.
It's the left. Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna play.
Definitely.
He's gonna play. The landlord plays.
Definitely. I mean, it'll be sweet if we can send him out like we sent Favre, man.
Brother, there's nothing better than what you just said.
It'll be sweet, man.
Nothing better than that. That's what I want. I want, again, Ben Johnson, breaker of chains, mother of dragons, destroyer of narratives. I'm just saying, Ben Johnson, man, this is a great opportunity for you to go up against the landlord, Aaron Rodgers, and show him and the Pittsburgh Steelers what for on multiple different degrees. And I'm here for it all day long. Melon put a $25 on Romo Dunze. First score of the game, plus 750 odds to pay out 215. Damn, Melon, that's wild. I don't
Not
have
mad
those
at
kind
it
of
though.
I don't have those kind of kahunas for 25 bucks, man. I don't know. Like Rome hasn't been doing it these last 2 weeks. That's my only little beef here, man. But you know, I
Yeah.
would almost look heavier to, and this I put a couple of good bets in these last few weeks. I'm starting to look at Kalmanungai for a touchdown. I wouldn't say first, but a touchdown in the game, because they're starting to lean on him in red zone capacity. The other person they're starting to lean on in red zone, Colston Loveland, and he's the other guy that you'd mentioned a bit earlier on, Melon Smashers. So those would be the two guys that I would be looking at in that game to potentially get into the end zone. Rum's just been up and down these last couple of weeks, so we'll see. So has Caleb. We'll see how things go.
Now, if you look at the Steelers, they've been having some issues with stopping the run. I mean, we know what they are.
Perfect.
We know what they are against the edges or whatever, but I think they're going to put some emphasis on really stopping the run, being that the Bears have the second best running game in the NFL. I think that coaching staff over there is going to put some emphasis on getting some stops in the run game to make it more second and third and long for us. So, hey, listen, Melon Smash, there's a thin line between genius and insanity. So, you know what I'm saying? You may be on to something, brother.
You might be. It might be just that week, right? He might be that it might be that script this week for Roman to get in early. They've had a hard time running that script these last 2 weeks, getting in the end zone in that first possession or two. I think if they are able to do that this week or next, it may well be Romo Dunze. You might be bang on. Now, that should be a fun matchup. But again, Kenneth Gainwell, if you need him, 55% rostered, 32% started. I'm surprised he's rostered as heavily as we're seeing here, especially in backup capacity. But by all means, if you can get your hands on Kenneth Gainwell, might be worth a start this week if you're hurting at the running back position. The other running back that I wanted to discuss this week is Emmanuel Wilson with Josh Jacobs out. So he put together a decent showing this past week, got in the end zone. A couple of yards on the ground, nothing spectacular, 40 yards. But they're up against the Minnesota Vikings. I can see them leaning a little bit heavier on Emmanuel Wilson this week. And, very likely a TD is probably in his horizon as well. So keep your eyes peeled on this Green Bay Packers running back. Might come in handy.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one right there. I think the Vikings may squeak that one out, man.
Think so? I hope so.
Maybe, man.
That'd be the best news all season.
Yeah, I think the Vikings may squeak that one out. But Emmanuel Wilson, he's explosive. He's a bigger guy too, so he's gonna get opportunities. That's for sure. So we'll see. I mean, because it's not a whole the weapons for Jordan Love have been falling apart week by week, but I think they found something in a young wide receiver, but they're going to have to lean heavily on the running game because Brian Flores, man, he's going to complicate things with those exotic blitzes.
Yeah, like you nailed it again. Like we don't know who's who or what's going on with this wide receiver core. They're all good. No, they all get no. I don't know what to say. Christian Watson's having great. He should be talked about again.
Yeah, he had a good week this week. But
let me start my time. Yeah, let me start my stopwatch because it's about that. It's almost that time where Christian Watson gets injured again.
Yeah, so, he was on my bench this week. I don't know why I didn't start him.
Because he's almost impossible to. It's almost impossible to trust this situation. It is as hit and miss as it could possibly be.
This is true.
You know what I'm saying?
Guy I would want to mention here is this is probably a lot of people that have that probably put what's his name? The receiver out number 1 in Detroit. I'm having a brain fart right now.
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Jameson Williams.
Jameson Williams probably has been on people's bench for a minute because he hasn't really gotten targeted until Dan Campbell took over the play calling sheet. Now all of a sudden, Jameson Williams is busting. Just letting you know, if you got him on your bench, you better go ahead and put him in the starting lineup. Flex him or something.
You just made so much sense. That was terrible that you just did that. I'm not happy. So yes. So Ben Johnson is the head coach of the Chicago Bears. I don't know who the offensive coordinator in Detroit is now, but he finds himself, you know what I mean? He finds himself in the upstairs booth. He's no longer on the sidelines because Dan Campbell said, "You suck. I'm just going to do this my damn self," and that's what he's doing. So he's taken over play calling duties. He's running the show on the sidelines. It's very evident, and he's come out and admitted to doing so. And I have noticed my guy, like you came out here and you asked a question. You're like, who is the number 1 receiver in Detroit? Well, in my opinion, it's this guy, and he's listed here, right? It's this guy now? Where? Oh, yeah, there you are. It's this guy.
Mm-hmm. And I think another reason for Jameson Williams is exploding is the fact that the tight end's not there.
Laporta?
Yeah,
I thought Laporta played last week.
Nah,
I'm gonna check Laporta.
He didn't play versus the Eagles.
No? Oh, you're right. That's one hell of a mustache, Sam.
He's on IR, man.
It was Brock Wright. He's on IR. No, it was Brock Wright. It was Brock Wright who played. I was like, they definitely had a tight end. They hit him a couple of times, but I couldn't. I thought the whole time it was Laporta. Okay, cool. What's not cool is that unfortunately Amon-Ra St. Brown's numbers have now taken a bit of a dip. Right? Like he was a 20+ dude for weeks for me. And this is the 1 week I needed him to put up 20 and he put up 6 points. So mad this week at Amon-Ra St. Brown and the Detroit Lions offense. But if you happen to be rostering Jameson Williams, you might want to think about starting him because Nomad's bang on. These last 3 weeks, since Dan Campbell's taken over the play calling sheet, pretty huge spike in his output. Right?
Yeah, you gotta catch old Robert indoors, man. That's where he gets. That's where he gets paid at indoors, man. You know, Detroit is gonna be tough for Detroit. You know, in the playoffs if they don't have home field, especially if they have to face one of these cold weather teams.
Well, so you know they're not first in the North anymore, so there's that. They might not have home field advantage at all.
Yeah.
And the Bears are first in the North. I'm so happy to be able to say that on my own show. This is great. That felt awesome.
Not tied, but first.
Now knock on some goddamn wood.
Oh, thank you.
Oh yeah, bang on it.
Double and triple knock, man. But yes, the Bears are first in the North. These guys are up against the New York Giants this coming week, so they're almost definitely going to win. Not too much to say about that. Other than start yourself some J-Mo Williams if you got him. Start
for sure.
Just about everybody on this squad if you got him. Yeah, the flip side is maybe Minnesota can do the Lord's work and feed these guys these guys lunch, right? So that would be great. Really give us a little bit more distance, and all we got to worry about is those Detroit Lions, man, because they're a good squad. No two ways about that. I think this is going to be the last guy that I take a close look at today, and that's Bracial Tootin. I know we talked a little bit more about the Jacksonville Jaguars, their wide receiver core, and we did allude to the fact that they're really leaning on the run game. The reality here is Travis Etienne is the guy they generally lean on. But Rachel Tutin's getting out there, and he's getting some north-south looks.
Yeah.
He's getting some some TDs here in the red zone. He's getting red zone looks. So this past week, 74 yards is questionable, but it might be a good idea if he's available, and he might be 23% rostered, 5% started. You might be able to get yourself some Rachel Tutin love and throw that on the on your bench for a time when when they go and visit a team like the Tennessee Titans, which is coming hot and heavy in week 13.
Yeah,
so.
Cohen is not hiding anymore. He's leaning on that running game. Tootin and what's his name? Tootin and the starter there.
Travis Etienne.
Yeah, Etienne. They both got some run. They both got some nice production there. I think they both had touchdowns too. And both of them are dual threat guys that can beat you on the run, with the run or the pass. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot more from him, especially if they go into these situations where the weather gets tricky. He's not gonna put that ball in Trevor Lawrence's hands, man.
Well, that sounds like one more win for the good guys. Let's do what we can to defeat all comers and all challengers. Been a bit of a rough week for this guy in fantasy football. Sounds like it was a rough go for D as well, but you can't win them all.
Can't win them all.
Just got to win the ones that you got to win, right? So let's get back at it. Take a look at that waiver wire. We have a better idea of who's injured, and we will have an even better idea as the week progresses. But keep your ear to the ground. Take a look at some of these guys that we've highlighted here today, and get them in your lineup if the need be, right? So
yes, indeed.
That's going to be another Superflex Fantasy Football show. We appreciate you. We love you. And we're out. Peace.
Peace.